Welcome to episode 8.20 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us here on millions.co. Ted, I just remembered it's that time of day where you get the glare. Is that what you're trying to resolve there?
I'm working glare issues. Yeah, we don't want to blind the six people that might actually watch this. So
The lighting is pretty sound right now, Ted. You're in
okay,
pretty good
all right.
shape.
I'm gonna leave it.
In
I'll
all
leave it
in
be.
all your glory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave it be.
So tonight we're going to begin with the NFL schedule that was just released last week, and then we're going to preview the final four.
We're not going through every game, right?
Yes, Ted. I'm going to make you pick between the Cardinals and the Panthers on week 6.
Nice. Okay.
No, some sort of big picture discussions on that.
Yeah.
I think some interesting topics come up. Then the final four is set in the NBA, and we're one game away from the final four in the NHL. And then we're going to finish up wrapping a discussion on the PGA Championship that was concluded yesterday. Before we get to that full list, Ted, what's making you grumpy today?
Is there some? I mean, I realize that my head is blank. The skin is blank. The inside is semi-blank. Is there something on my forehead that says I want to talk with you to people? Does it flash? I mean, I'm in the grocery store today, and this guy I had a Maryland hat on, okay?
Yes.
And this is just, seems to be a trend with all my Maryland stuff. As soon as like we told you when we went down to North Carolina, every time I had a Maryland shirt on, somebody had to, come over and say, "Oh, you're from Maryland." Yeah, okay, and tell me their life story. So this was actually semi-interesting, and this guy is standing there, and he goes, and he's older, much older than me, and he goes, "Oh, Maryland." He said they had a pretty good lacrosse season. I'm like, "Well, okay." I said I think I said something along the lines like, "Oh, they're usually pretty good." So yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And he goes, "I played lacrosse for Colgate back in the '50s."
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, "Oh, okay." And he was, he's smaller than me, but a little burly. And I said, "Yeah, okay." And he goes, and he looks around and he goes, "We played Syracuse, and I walked out for the opening faceoff, and this big black guy was standing there, and he spat." He
Jim
said,
Brown.
That's what exactly." He said he said he stuck out his hand and said, "Hi, I'm Jim Brown." And and Jim Brown, then he said, and then when they dropped the ball, he picked it up and proceeded to run me over. And I said to him, I said, "Well, you might be the first, but you're certainly not the only guy that he ran over." And he goes, "Yeah, I guess you're right." And then the lady at the checkout, the woman who works there, she's like doing play by play on everything that I'm sending through. "Oh, well, this looks really good." Just do it. You've got a job. I've got a job to pay you guys. I mean, now she always asks, because I've been through there a couple times, and I really do try to semi avoid her because I don't need But the one thing she always does is, even if you don't bring coupons, she starts whipping them. She just pulls out the thing and starts giving them to you anyway.
Yeah.
And then she's asking me, "Did you buy this?" And I'm so stupid. Then I go, "No, I didn't buy that."
Oh, she showed other coupons.
Well, yeah, she's like, "Oh, was this in there? Was this in there?" No, no, no. And I'm going, "No," because I just want to leave. And I really don't want her to, potentially get in any kind of trouble for, uh, you know, uh, uh, you know, giving coupons out to people who
Yeah.
don't have them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm just wandering around and people are, it's the last week and a half. I don't know if it's the Maryland stuff or just I don't know
Your
if people are
smiling disposition, Ted.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. People are coming at me hard.
Well, I tell you, the Jim Brown discussion was a good
Yeah.
one, though.
Well, I mean, it wasn't as much of a discussion as much as it was. He just said, "There's this big guy, and he goes, and he described him a little bit, and then he said, and he, stuck out his hand. My name is Jim Brown," and I'm like, Well, yeah, I do remember, and I had to act a little bit surprised that he played lacrosse, that I didn't know that he played lacrosse. So yeah, but because he really wanted to tell the story that he had been run
Ah.
over by Jim Brown, so he didn't.
Ted, when you said Maryland lacrosse, all my mind could go to is, do you remember the Maryland superstar when we were kids, Frank Urso?
Frank Urso, you bet. Yeah, yeah, he was great.
We went and saw him play once, and I'm trying to remember who they played, and Frank lit it up that day. He just scored from everywhere. I'm trying to remember. There were like about 20 of us at Bird Stadium that day.
You just wanted to go see lacrosse or Frank
I can't
Urso?
remember who it was that took us there. I remember we had a
Because
in
lacrosse really wasn't a thing for us.
no, it wasn't. We had a middle school. We had a student teacher in middle school in English,
Oh, okay.
Alan Gall,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Alan was a bit of a free spirit.
Yeah, I
Hence the
remember
fact
that,
that
yeah.
he let us refer to him as Alan.
Yeah, right, yeah, yeah.
He was a kindred spirit, so to speak. He was actually much cooler than I ever was. Alan might have been the person that took us to the
Yeah,
lacrosse game.
yeah, well, that could be. We had a student we had a student teacher, I don't remember her name, but a woman came in my English class at high school, and we were supposed to read The Scarlet Letter.
Mm,
And the teacher, the teacher was out. So I don't know if she was a student teacher as much as just a first year teacher who just came in the middle of
mm,
the year. They
mm.
needed somebody. And she was like, "Nah, we're not reading the Scarlet Letter." And she rolled in a TV for a week and we watched Citizen Kane.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I mean, at least a week. I don't know. Citizen Kane's a long movie, and I mean,
Oh, that's you have like 40 minutes at a shot. Yeah.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was like a week or something like that. 5 days, 6 days, maybe. I don't
Have
know.
you ever watched that movie since then?
Oh yeah, several times.
Really?
Yeah,
I saw an interview with a couple of big Hollywood stars the other day, and they were asking them, what famous movie have you never seen as like movie stars? And one of them
yeah.
said Gone with the Wind, and one of them said Citizen Kane. And I've seen a lot of those old great movies. I don't know that I've ever seen Citizen Kane.
Well, if you ever sit down and watch it, buckle in because it's 2.5, 3 hours. It's a
That
lot.
sounds like something I have to put on my things to do list.
Yeah, it's a nice movie. Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's
Hey,
just one of those.
you remember the lady that played the mother in Bewitched, the
Yes.
TV show? She's in
Yes.
Citizen Kane.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, yeah. She plays his mother when he's a little kid.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
She's
Um,
not in it a lot, but she's in it.
yeah. It's like one night I sat down and watched Casablanca.
Oh, okay.
Ted, he never says in the movie, "Play it again, Sam."
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm not that one in the Maltese Falcon. I'm like, yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're not.
Casablanca's pretty good, Ted.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
good.
all right. It's
Pretty
all
good.
right. It's all right.
Pretty good. All right, here we go, Ted. My grump, with the warm weather approaching, or here, now that we're in the 90s, I don't know why you're all
Yeah,
bundled up there
my
you
air
must have the air
conditioning vent
conditioning.
is right over me. So
Okay.
if I had hair, it would blow when the air conditioning went. But I don't have to worry about that.
So, Ted, it is now time for outside yard work. And yes, before you say it, here at Del Boca Vista North,
Yeah.
there are some outside yard
Well, I
work
know.
tasks
Yeah.
that are required of the homeowners. And one of them that I take upon myself because I like a neat, orderly look at my house and so forth. I'm one of those guys that spends a fair amount of time trying to kill the weeds in the flower beds
Right.
and so
Right.
forth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And for many years, I used Roundup.
Right.
And Roundup is an incredibly effective product. But then the executive producer one day shared with me the not so savory health ramifications
Right.
of
Right. Yeah.
using Roundup. So since then, she has convinced me, and I have agreed to start looking for more environmentally and personal safe products to use from a yard maintenance standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay?
You don't want to be dressed in the full hazmat suit while you're spraying weeds and you're
Well,
spraying the
every time
weed.
I think about that, I think back to my summer of spraying paraquat around the fair
Yeah, that's it.
nursery.
I'm going to tell you what, that's a much bigger issue to me than once a year going out and spraying Roundup, but whatever.
Exactly. But whenever I have the three horns spotting out of my head, I just
Yeah.
think back to summer paraquat. Anyway, irregardless. During one of my trips to Lowe's, it might have been the same trip that the guy tried to sell me the air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
I was standing there looking, trying to find the latest environmental product, and there's a product now called Spruce.
Okay.
And I read the label, and it looked like it should be one of the products that I should be using. Ted, I looked back on it because here's what it says on the label, and I quote, "Safe for use around people, pets, and bees."
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now they sell the product in one of those handy dandy, comes with the pump thing,
Right.
Okay, perfect. And then a really good idea, they sell a little refill unit so
Right.
that you just buy the little small unit and you clip it in and you only have to buy one. Very beautiful. So I'd gone through the first bottle a while back and had bought a refill unit and had clipped it in, and I think I'd done it properly. And I was walking out to start the spraying process, and I inadvertently hit the spot on the top section of the sprayer that caused the refill section to come loose. And when it did, it hit the driveway, and I'd say about a 1 foot circular area puddled up around on the driveway. So I reattached it fairly quickly, and then I went and got some of like our pots that we use for watering the plants and so forth. One of the big ones, and I immediately dumped all the water out onto it, thinking this will disperse the water. Okay, and I actually did it like twice. So does this seem like a pretty reasonable way to disperse a little puddle of chemicals that should be safe for people around pets and bees?
Right. Gotcha.
Okay, so we have a little sort of, if you remember, sort of an aggregate driveway that is sort of a
Yeah.
off yellowish, sort of tannish color. 2 hours later, I had a bright white spot where that puddle hit. Here's my question, Ted. How can this product be safe for people, pets, and bees if it bleaches my driveway white in 2 hours? Explain that to me, Lucy. Am I
I don't
wrong?
say anything about concrete. Concrete. No, concrete. No. You're concrete. It's all part of it's all part of one of the other cabals. And this is with power washers now. Now you have to go either get a power washer or a power washer guy to now spray this all off.
Well, that's the thing, Ted. There's a guy here in the neighborhood that I think he makes his living. He has a business of doing power washing and then
Yeah.
sealing driveways.
Yeah.
I think he just
Yeah.
goes around the neighborhood from one house to the next. He does a great job. And I think about maybe
Right.
not last fall, but maybe the fall before that. So within an 18-month period, we sealed the driveway. But
Yeah.
that had no effect on a puddle of spruce. Spruce ate right through that.
Yeah. I'm just saying I wouldn't take a bath in it. Just based on that, I don't know how safe it is for people. Maybe the fumes are safe, but it might eat through your shoes or something. It's not safe with water. Oh, okay. There was probably a instruction on the back that you didn't see that said something about how you have to, if
Yeah,
there's a
take care of
spill,
spills.
you probably have to get, an 18-pound chemical that spruce off. Amazingly, spruce dissolve that amazingly they sell. It'll take care of it.
Right
Perfect.
next to
I'm
the
sure
spruce
it's online.
for the idiots that don't know how to
how
keep
much
their
was the
container
spruce?
attached. Huh?
How much was the spruce? How much was the spruce? How much did that cost?
$25,
Ballpark.
$30.
Yeah, the spruce off is 150. Spruce off 300. We always sell it in a 300 gallon. You're going to be there all day. And you got to have brushes, and now you have to have the hazmat.
Now you have to have the
and we
hazmat.
sell that. And we sell the hazmat suit.
And it comes in a big bundle. A big bundle for
sure.
$295.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Plus shipping.
And the tariff. All right, here we go, Ted. You
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
Got it right that time, Ted. All right. This question came from the executive producer.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
forwarded me a reel where I think this question was asked. Barstool Sports has quite the little operation these days. They got quite a few workers, and it looked like they.
Have you ever watched the morning show
I
on
don't.
Barstool?
No, is it bad?
They should put us on. I mean, this must be his friends. This just must be the guy's friends.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy. Yeah,
Yeah, and it must
yeah.
be just his friends.
I see some videos of his.
You watch 5 or 10 minutes of that. Brutal. But I
Anyway,
mean, I also know that they're young guys and they talk a lot about betting and stuff. So maybe that's
yeah. Okay, so Ted, last week we commiserated with our brethren in the Philadelphia area with their Sixers and Flyers getting swept in
yeah,
consecutive
yeah,
days. So this question is sort of akin to that. Okay, now
yeah.
follow this question. It's clear, but it just takes a second to make certain you understand it. Which U.S. city
Hmm.
that currently has teams in all four of the four major sports: baseball, football,
Hmm.
basketball, and hockey?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a city, has the fewest championships total in all four sports?
Okay. Well, all right. Seattle.
Nope.
Okay. Well, they only had one basketball. They have no baseball and what? One football, two football.
Two football now.
So they have
Seahawks have won
three.
twice.
So they have
So they
three
have two football, one basketball.
basketball. So they have three. So it's less than three.
Yep.
Somebody with all four has less than three.
Yep. And I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a
Yeah.
hint. Uh, in
Atlanta.
this,
No,
nope.
Atlanta doesn't have hockey anymore. That's right. Atlanta would have been a good guess if they still had hockey.
This city has two championships in the same sport within about a 5-year window that
Yeah.
we saw.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Now you got to figure out who has four teams and hasn't been because there's probably a city that the fourth team hasn't been around that long.
Let me give you
Uh,
another hint. It had a team in hockey, then it left and it came back.
had a team in hockey. It left and came back.
And a new team came in.
Yeah. I mean, like Winnipeg, but that doesn't. Winnipeg's not.
That's not a U.S. city.
Yeah, and it's not the answer. It wouldn't be the answer anyway. Hockey team that went away and came back. Now that's a really good. Atlanta made sense then, but they're because they had one and it left and it went away. Um, who left and went away? Who left and came back? Denver.
Nope.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good question. It's a really good question. Ted,
Yeah.
Minneapolis, St. Paul
Oh, okay.
won the two championships with the Twins, and when
With
the
the
Stars
Twins,
won, they won
nothing
as the
else.
Dallas Stars.
Dallas Stars, right? Yeah. The Wild haven't done, and nobody else has done anything. And the Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls and couldn't get it done.
And before the Coyotes left Phoenix, Ted, Phoenix had the title.
Phoenix would
with
have been
one, just the Diamondbacks.
right. I would have, yeah. Had Phoenix been in it, that was where I first went. Was okay, Phoenix, and then I thought, well, okay, they're not there anymore, and Seattle hasn't had a hockey team for very long. So, and I forgot how many times the Seahawks won. So,
it's great
okay,
question.
That's a good question. That is a good question. Yeah.
All right, Ted. Let's talk about the NFL schedule. And before we talk about the specific, I want to just go through a few overview points that I think are important to talk about the NFL schedule. First, we have to remember that the NFL schedule is preordained once season ends, in the sense that there's a first place schedule, a second place schedule, third place, fourth. Right. Also, teams within a certain division, in addition to playing their interdivisional game, they all play the same team from another division in division. And so that tries to even out the schedule for the teams within a division from a playoff race standpoint. And we have to remember that a first place schedule is designed to be much harder than a fourth place schedule. The goal of the NFL is to basically create a bunch of 8-8 teams so that you have as much parity, as many teams vying for playoff spots as possible.
Yeah, right, right.
Right.
They want races down to the end. Right. Yeah.
Which is one of the things I think that makes the NFL such a great sport, is that if you're a team like the Patriots, you get the coach right, you get the quarterback right, you have the fourth place schedule, you can go from having the third pick in the draft one year or whatever they had 2 drafts ago to being in the Super Bowl. And you don't have that in any other major sport these days. It's one of the things I think that makes NFL the best.
Yeah, I mean, basketball could, or it used to. It used
But
to be.
even
You could draft a guy. I
yeah,
mean,
but you
like,
have the
but
perfect example right now, Wemby.
yeah,
Third season, and they're on the cusp. But even if they had gotten Wemby and hadn't drafted Stefan Castle and hadn't drafted Dylan Harper and hadn't gotten the right coach to replace Popovich, they could have had a lot of the same players and not
but
gotten here.
you still have to have the, like New England, you still have to have some other players, and they still had to go out and get guys, and they
Right.
still had to get I mean, but I think basketball used to be that way. I'm not sure that it is that way anymore, because now the stars like to play with their friends. So
Right. Now, Ted, in addition to that as being a backdrop, I think the other thing that we can agree on is that more and more the NFL is going out of its way to take this preordained schedule and put specific matchups in specific spots in the season specifically for TV.
yeah, sure.
They're
Yeah.
jerry rigging the schedule. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Hence, you get the Super Bowl rematch in the first game of the year. How did that happen? Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe they're hoping to have better game this time than they did the
Yeah.
first time they played.
All right. Let me ask you this question as a starting point. So we know who, at the end of last season, we knew who the Packers were going to play. We just didn't
Right.
know the sequence that they were going to play them
Right.
in.
Right.
Do you think the sequence of how you play the same 17 games is important to the end result of your season?
Sure. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Of course so.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
You need a breather somewhere,
okay. And if you just put it into the computer and said, schedule these 200 and however many games, I think it's 250, I don't know however many there are, schedule these games, you'd probably get an even flow of good team, bad game, home, way.
Right.
There would
Right.
be a flow to the season. But right now you get these incredible pockets.
Right.
Do you think the league is going out of its way to make things harder or easier for specific teams?
I think I don't know. I mean, the way they have the schedule, they have to play the teams that, I mean, they have to play their division teams. They have to play, if they're in first place, they have to play the first place teams and all that. I think they're making it harder to have dynasties. That's what I think they're
But do
trying
you
to do.
think, do you think that's an unexpected side effect, or do you think that's the goal?
I think it's a goal. I think it's a goal. I don't think they want to see somebody win it 3 times in a row. I don't.
Okay, and so do you think?
I don't think they wanted Kansas City, for example. They would have wanted Kansas City
Okay,
to go,
but
or
now,
they don't want a Buffalo going to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. Kind of
okay,
thing.
but speaking to Kansas City last year, their 17 games, their 17 opponents was already set before the season
Yeah.
began.
Right. Right.
But you think that it is the sequence in which the games are played either increases or decreases your chances for
It
success?
can. I think it can. Let's. I mean, I'll give you an example. I think this is horrible. Horrible. I mean, we can talk about Washington, which I think their first 5 games are awful, but
I'd go to 6, but anyway, continue.
yeah. But the Rams and the 49ers opening the season in Australia. Come on. Come on. No, you can't do that. No. I mean, I know that, and last year the Cowboys and what was it? The Cowboys and the Eagles last year, the year before, played in Brazil.
No, it was my
it's
Packers and the Eagles.
Oh, okay, okay, but no, it's no, you can't have now. See, because okay, I don't know who gets the home. Who's the home team in that game. I don't know, uh, but that's a game that the home team, the home field can matter. And they're
Hmm.
going to Australia with a bunch of guys that are drinking Fosters, looking around, going, hey, who are these guys, right? And then they got to come back. Yeah,
Right.
it's different if baseball's different. They can go to Japan and come play 3 games and come, and they got 159 more to go. Chances are those 3 games, particularly with the Dodgers, weren't gonna make they were still gonna make the playoffs. I hate that. I hate that. You know, I hate that they're going that far away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think
All right.
Australia is. I think a game in Australia is much different than a game in London or even Brazil because of the time zones and the international date line and all that kind of stuff. You would know
Yeah.
better than me because you've been on that part of the world. So
Now, um, let's talk specifically about a couple teams. You said the Commanders, and you said the
yeah,
first 5 games. Here's their
yeah,
first 6 games, Ted. They begin
yeah,
with 2 on the road against the Eagles and the Cowboys.
yeah.
Then they have the Super Bowl champion Seahawks at home.
Right.
Then they travel to Europe for the Colts. Then,
Yeah.
without a bye on either side of that, they come back and have the
Right.
Giants. And then in the 6th game, they go out to the West Coast to play the 49ers.
I'd forgotten about that game. Yeah.
If if
That's
they're if
brutal.
they're better than 1-5, 2-4, they should give Dan Quinn the Coach of the Year award.
Yeah, and I mean, I did look this up. The Colts get a bye the week after that game. So how does Washington not? I mean, is it because Washington's on the East Coast and it's an hour closer? Because of the I don't get that. And then they're playing a division team. I think they're playing that game in Washington, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, on you almost have to have a break somewhere. But you know what I think they're doing there? I think because I think they want to have a team in London full time,
Oh,
right?
100%.
And I think they're trying.
100%.
I think they're trying to figure out if teams can play and then come back and not have a bye on either side, and it's just a game like any other, like going to the West Coast, and that um, you know it'll be okay. And I would say it might be okay if you then played them on the Thursday night game.
Mm. Okay, so
Yeah.
see that's interesting also because I think what you're alluding there to is if you put a bye before the Thursday night game and make them travel, then that seems to be more
Yeah.
viable. But so that's what they did with the Packers and the Rams. They're playing on Thanksgiving Eve,
On a
and what they've
Wednesday.
done is on Wednesday, and they gave them the bye the week before. So
Right,
neither of
yeah.
those two teams gets a full bye next season. They could both get sort of 2 half buys because
Okay,
you
yeah.
know,
Okay. Yeah.
so. But Ted, before we get to that, also talk about another team with a tough start. The Broncos. They begin
Yeah.
on the road in Kansas City. Then they have the Jags, Rams, 49ers, Chargers, and Seahawks. 5 consecutive teams that made the
Wow.
playoffs last year.
Wow.
And when I said,
Brutal.
do you think the league is out to get certain teams? One of the reasons I asked this is specifically the Broncos. Sean Payton uh, is an outspoken guy. And from
Right.
time to time, he says things that are controversial at best,
Yeah.
anti NFL at the worst.
Right. Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan made some comments in the past about these international trips, and now they're going to Australia.
Right. Yeah.
It almost seems to me like in certain cases the league is going to go, hey, here's a little just to show you who's the boss.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so Denver has those first 5 games. Kansas City, they should be able to beat. Kansas City, Mahomes isn't gonna play, right? And, and they'll probably win at least one other one. So
But
they go out
this is a team
2,
that
but if
has
they go out
designs on
2 and
being the
3.
best team in the AFC.
Yeah, but if they go out 2 and 3, there's got to, because of that stretch, there's got to be a stretch where they have 2 or 3 games that they should just sort of be able to throw the jerseys out and win, you know?
Okay. I think when I asked the question, do you think the league is out to punish certain teams? I don't think so. I think what the league is out to do is to make as many good TV and particularly primetime games as possible. And
Yeah.
then the rest of the schedule just falls out however it does.
Yeah.
So you end up
I
with
think that's a
so
thousand percent true. Yeah.
if you're the Commanders, which are a good team or should be a good team, but not necessarily one of the elite teams,
Yeah. But they have a guy that the TV networks like.
I get that, but I don't think the NFL is scheduling its season around the Commanders. They're scheduling their season
No.
around the Rams and the Seahawks and the Cowboys. And now that Aaron's back in Pittsburgh, around the Steelers, I think there are certain franchises that they're orienting their season around, and the rest. I think they find those games, put them in the TV spots where they want them, and then everything else happens
Right.
just how it
Right.
has to happen. They say, okay, they put it into a computer and they say, okay, I want this game here, I want this game here, I want this game here, and then they say, okay, now fill in the rest of the schedule. And when you end up with is something like what happens to the Commanders and the Broncos.
Yeah. I mean, that may be I think that's true. I think they're trying to get the best TV schedule for the 4 o'clock and the Sunday night game and the Monday night game, and where they have what they hope is the prime viewing.
And I don't even think so. I don't even think it's the Sunday 4 o'clock game any so much. I think it is the standalone Sunday night, Monday
Okay.
night, Thursday night games. And Ted, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the DOJ investigation into the streaming and the lawsuit and
Yeah.
all of
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It almost looks to me like Roger Goodell said
Yeah. Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
streaming, because listen to the games that the streaming partners get. Second game of the year in Australia, Netflix gets the Rams and the 49ers. Netflix. They get the Thanksgiving Eve game between the Packers and the Rams. They also get these two games on Christmas: Packers and Bears, Bills and Broncos. Ain't no stinkers in there, Ted.
Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. I mean,
They're
guys
not
get
giving
hurt.
them the Cardinals and the Raiders.
No, I mean the guys get hurt, and sometimes a game sort of fizzles apart before you get to that point in the season. But on paper, if the star players are reasonably healthy, those are prime matchups. That yeah, they're you're right. They're not putting the Raiders and the Cardinals on, right?
And then I looked at the or God forbid the Cardinals and the Jets.
Oh,
Oof.
anything with the Jets.
Yeah, Ted. I then looked at the primetime schedule on Thursday night, and so Ted, in the past, the other thing the NFL has done is they've eliminated the rule that says every team has to be on primetime at least once.
Good.
So they're not. Yeah, exactly. So they're not worried about the Titans being on on a third.
Right.
So in the
Right.
past, you early in the season, particularly, you get a lot of Bengals and Titans and
Right.
on
Right.
those
Right.
Thursday night games. But Ted, listen to some of these games on Thursday night on Prime: Lions, Bills, Falcons, Packers, Bucks, Cowboys, Seahawks, Broncos, Patriots, Bears, Panthers, Packers, Jags, Ravens, Chiefs, Rams, and 49ers and Chargers. They have a lot of good games on Thursday night. And
Which will probably be, depending on their other parts of their schedule, may not be such good games because if they both play on Sunday,
but I think there are two
I almost want them
ramifications
to
of
put
this.
the
First,
49ers in I mean,
say again,
go
I
ahead.
lost you.
No, I was just going to say you almost want them to put the Cardinals and the Raiders on Thursday night just to give everybody else a breather.
But I heard this on the Coward Show, and I agree with this. The focus of putting the really good teams or the expected really good teams, high profile teams, are great for TV ratings. But Ted, that's a lot of Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, which makes short week games on both ends of the schedule, right? And are you perhaps damaging your good teams in the search of TV ratings to the point where you're at the end of the season, you're not going to have as good a product because those good teams aren't good because they've had to play this horrendous schedule?
Right. Exactly. And, uh, you know, uh, noise at some point was made about player
Mm.
safety. Nah, that's out the window. Look, I mean, and then they say, what was it? What was the number? 87 or 84% of the games are on free TV.
Mm.
Well, first of all, nobody can see 84% of the games because
They're all on at the same time.
unless you have well, but if you have satellite or something, and you can't, and a lot of them you don't want to see.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You want to see the Jets and the Browns. Nobody wants to watch that.
Nobody wants to see that. Ted, let's go to the NBA Final Four. In the East, we are specifically recording on Monday night in part because we wanted to see who filled out that last spot in the Final Four. And now we know the Cavs will be playing the Knicks based on a very impressive Game 7 performance.
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked that the Cavaliers won. I was shocked that they were the more physical and the better defensive team over the Pistons.
Yeah.
The Pistons are not a good offensive team, Ted, but the Cavs held them to 36% shooting. And here's the other thing. They out-rebounded Detroit, and they outscored them 58-34 in the paint last night. When you outscore somebody by 24 in the paint, that tells me you're being more physical than the other team.
And either that or you're getting a lot of layups.
But I thought the two Cleveland big men played really well last night.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. Now, Ted, all of that said about the Cavaliers, I think this upcoming series against the Knicks comes down to whether or not the Knicks will continue the offensive pace that they've showed in the last 6 games. Okay, Ted,
Yes.
I want to give you the numbers. The last 6 games. I want to give you the numbers. The last 2 in the Hawks, and then the 4 games in the Sixers sweep. Okay? In those 6 games, here are the Knicks offensive stats. They're averaging 127 points per game.
Yep.
They're shooting almost 56% from the field and almost 43% from 3. Compare that to their regular season stats. And people play less defense in the regular season, so it should be easier to score in the regular season than the playoffs, right?
Right.
Okay. In the regular season, they averaged less than 117 points per game. So they're averaging 10 points more per game. They shot 48% from the field and 37% from 3. To your point from last week, if the Knicks keep up that pace, I don't think the Cavs and Lakers can beat them.
No, I don't think anybody's going to beat them. 127 points in the playoffs is tough to beat. That's a lot of points. Yeah.
Now,
I mean, I don't know who scored the most in the league this year, but I'm pretty sure it's probably not averaging 127.
You know who it was, Ted? And it's fascinating that the Denver Nuggets were the highest scoring team in the regular season this year at 121, 122.
Okay.
Which just goes to show you that in the regular season, if you're a Western team and on Tuesday night you were playing in Minnesota and Wednesday night you're playing in Denver, you don't have a lot of time to gear up for Jokic and the way they run that offense. Yeah. But in the playoffs, you focus in on what they're doing
every game. Yeah.
You know their sets, you know where Jokic likes to be, you know where Murray needs to be, and you can defend it. And that's why most times in the NBA it comes down to who has the best players win the playoff series.
Right.
Right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Here's my question. Will the long layoff hurt the Knicks and make them lose their offensive rhythm? It comes down to that.
Well, I think it's 2 parts, really. The layoff, right? Okay. So the first game, they could be rusty. Certainly the first half of the first game, they could be very rusty. And every team goes through stretches during the season, in the regular season. The Knicks probably had a stretch where they maybe didn't score 127, but maybe they scored 121 for 4 or 5 games in a row. And then they probably had stretches where they scored 96 points for 4 or 5 games in a row. So was it, it was a chain, they made some changes. Is it the change where they just hot with, so we'll have to find that out. But they have to be the favorite going in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, and Ted, if you abide by the law of averages, the Knicks, even if they'd played on a regular schedule, they could just run into another 4-game stretch where
Yeah.
they don't shoot it well. I
Right.
mean, they're human. They're going to miss.
Yeah,
They have
right.
good players, but it
Yeah.
could happen.
Well, and Cleveland could have looked at their new offense with Towns at the top and go, okay, we do this and we can negate that. I mean, so if
And
Philadelphia couldn't do it, but
I will say this: in Evan Mobley, they have maybe the quintessential person to defend
right,
that
right.
big man at the top of the key. He has the athleticism to go out there and guard him, and the size to guard him. He's a really good matchup, and I've liked Mobley for a long time, both offensively and defensively. That might be the key to the series. I just don't know who. I guess the Cavaliers will put. Merrill on Brunson, because I don't think they want Harden on him, and I don't think they want Donovan Mitchell
Oh, they
on him.
definitely don't want Harden on.
No,
Harden's not playing him.
no. I think
Harden's
whoever's Harden is guarding is going to become the guy they pick.
Harden's covering Ben Stiller.
Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, or whoever, Spike Lee, whoever's sitting over there on the stands.
That would be funny. That would be funny if Harden walked out on the opening tip and said, "I got him," pointed over to Spike Lee. That would be good. I have the Knicks in 6.
That sounds reasonable. I think Cleveland could win it if the Knicks, offense comes back down to earth a little bit. There's no reason why Cleveland couldn't win it, but it's probably likely that the Knicks will go. I think the Knicks are a little better.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the Spurs and the Thunder, and this is the series that I know I've been waiting for, and I think this is the de facto NBA championship.
Well, okay, if the Knicks get in and they're playing well, maybe. Yeah.
Okay,
I think the Knicks could be a team of destiny.
Okay.
They have Willis Reed come out in the first game. Well, no, they can't anymore, but
that wouldn't work.
They'll show film of Willis Reed coming out and running around. So,
by the way, the highlight of the Detroit game last night was the 25-minute, it seemed, length of the opening introduction for the Pistons team. Oh my gosh. They first showed a little highlight sequence on this. Just introduce the guys and throw the ball up. Let's get oh my gosh. It drove me crazy.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah.
And like they do that. I'm sure they do that every game of the regular season and playoffs. Like, come on, guys. We've seen all of this. We know. Yeah. Just get on with it. Anyway, Ted, I like the Thunder team. I like everything about that team. But the Spurs are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Ted, they win the last 2 games over the Timberwolves. Not a great team, but a well-coached, scrappy, hard-nosed team. They win by 29 in Game 5 and 30 in Game 6. Their 2 losses to the Timberwolves were by 2 in Game 1 and by 5 in Game 4 when Wemby got kicked out. Conversely, their 4 wins against a good Timberwolves team average of 26 points per game. Conversely, the Thunder have swept the Suns and the Lakers. The last 6 games of those 2 series played without Jalen Williams. I think their second best player, even though Chet Holmgren has been very, very good. Williams has come out. He has a YouTube channel. Williams has come out and said he's good to go. He's ready to play.
I'm glad he has a YouTube channel.
Hey, if he wants to ditch it, he can come on and be a special guest on the Grumpy Brothers podcast.
No, I'm just glad. I'm glad. I guess he has time on his hands since he's hurt, so that's fine.
Ted, these 2 teams played 5 times in the regular season.
Yeah.
Last game in February, literally none of the Thunder guys played. I'm surprised you didn't get a call to suit up.
Yeah.
But in the other 4, when everybody played, Spurs were 3-1, Ted, against the Thunder.
Okay.
Give me your big picture on this series and what you think.
Who's Hartenstein's backup for Oklahoma City?
See, they do not have when they take Hartenstein out. Oh, okay. They bring in the other Jalen Williams, who's not a true center, and then they move Holmgren to play the 5 defensively.
Okay. I think you're going to have, because he's shown a tendency to have some composure issues at times. I think I think Hartenstein's going to have to lean, and then it's just a question of how the game is officiated. I think Hartenstein has to lean on Wembanyama and get up under his skin. if he can do that, take him out of his, I think that could. It's really not what Oklahoma City does, but I think you're going to have to push him around and get him frustrated with things, and hopefully get referees that say let the players decide it. Um, and I look, I still go with championship pedigree. Uh, I think Oklahoma City wins, but it's going to take 7. I think it's a 7-game series for Oklahoma City.
Hmm. See,
But I mean, they have the Spurs have Wembanyama, who's a difference maker, and Fox is great, and it's not like it's going to be. I just think it's going to be 7 games, and I'm just giving Oklahoma City the home court advantage win, and the fact that they've been down this road a little bit farther than the Spurs have been. And maybe Hartenstein plays 1 game where he just where he throws Wemby off his deal. Yeah.
I love Stefan Castle. I think he is the perfect guy to defend SGA. The other guy, I can't pronounce his last name, Champagny. I think he can guard another wing defender really well. Vassell is a decent enough wing defender. De'Aaron Fox is not a great defender, but he's a willing defender. I don't think you want him being the primary on either Jalen. I think he's going to guard Dort or Caruso. But Dylan Harper, I think, has the athleticism to stay with the Thunder wing players. What I have grown to really appreciate, and I think I've said this a couple times, is the 2 games that I've seen that the Spurs played with Wembanyama. Without him, I became more impressed with them after watching the impact of Fox, Harper, Castle, Vassell, and Champagny. I love those 5 perimeter guys. And I didn't even mention Keldon Johnson, who can come off the score and be a little mini microwave, little Vinny Johnson type situation. Ted, Spurs in 6.
Okay.
They're the better team, top to bottom.
Okay. It's just rare when a team that hasn't been there in the NBA, and it's not like Oklahoma City got old. This is a team, they're a young team, so that's why I'm kind of
And I will say this: the Thunder better get him this year.
Oh yes, yeah, this is it. Yeah, if they keep this group together for a while, this is going to be a thorn in their side for a long time.
And the only thing that I will say is the only thing that the rest of the league and the Thunder have to look forward to is eventually Castle's going to be due for his big contract, and Wembanyama is going to be due for the big contract, and Harper, they can't keep them all.
No, that's right. That's right.
So
but
they've got at least another couple of years where they got all these guys under rookie deals, and they're going to be.
But it's hard for teams. I can't remember a team of really young team. The one that I do remember, and I have to go back a long, long time. It was Portland with Bill Walton, and they were supposed to get crushed by that Sixer team, and what they win in 5. So that's what I because you look at these NBA things, and it's almost always, a young team comes in and then they play the veteran team, and the veteran team, they slow the game down, they get some calls, and next thing you know, they've won it, But
think about how long it took Jordan and the Bulls to get through the Pistons.
Right. Yeah. And it was a different game and different era too, but
similar principle.
Yeah. But the Spurs have a lot of really talented players. It's just, how is the game going to be officiated, and are they going to be able to, if things are called loose, are they going to be able to keep their composure? And we'll see.
All right, Ted, let's have our first NHL discussion, I think, of the season, with the Final Four almost set. The Sabres and the Canadiens finished their incredibly fun series to watch. Ted, I don't know if these are good teams, but man, these are great games to watch.
Average
of 7.5 goals per game in this series.
Well, they do know each other, and Buffalo's goaltending really sort of fell off. I mean, it was holding on, and then it has fallen off considerably in the last couple of games. And then Montreal fell off there in the 6th game. But I think Montreal probably wins.
Ted,
I think I think their goalie's better.
I have been so impressed watching the Canadians, particularly on the power play. The puck moves, the players move. They all are
Yeah.
skilled. Slafat's not. I can't pronounce his name. You
Solovsky.
know the
Yeah. Yeah.
Slafosky. Love him. Hudson, the point guy, great.
Yeah.
Caulfield, even Suzuki is better. He's a more skilled player. I thought he was just sort of a scrappy guy, but he's a good
No, he's
skilled
a
player
good
also.
player. Good player.
Now,
I
Ted,
know.
the one thing I'll
I
say
think
about
the league's better if Montreal at least wins. You know, I think the league is better if Montreal wins. I'm not saying that they're going out of their way to help them. I'm just saying that it looks better when a Canadian team
the
gets to
other
at
thing I will
least the
say,
final
Ted,
four.
is the other thing that I am not a hockey expert. I am not Sean
Right.
Telfer or Don Ford.
Right. Right.
Uh, but Ted, I'm going to go out on a limb here and make a statement that I think is 99% likely to be true.
Yeah.
Neither of these teams are going to be able to do what they do in the next round against the Hurricanes.
No, Carolina may lose the first game on rust.
But
But
you're not getting
they're
7.5
better.
goals per game.
No, no, no. Um, Carolina's been great in part because Frederick Anderson has been the guy that everybody's been waiting for to show up in the playoffs. But the rest of the team is really, really good. They're fast. They're big. They hit people. They're well coached. It's a really good team.
I don't know that there's any team, maybe in professional college sports, that better embodies its head coach than the Carolina Hurricanes and Rod Brindamore.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, yeah. They're really good. It's just they're really good. They seem to have everything clicking, and with Anderson playing at a high level, it just seems like that they're gonna just sort of push their way into the finals without too much difficulty.
Yeah, Ted, I made the comment you're not going to score all those goals. Like Ted, in the 8 games, they've had 2 consecutive 4-game sweeps against the Senators and
Yeah.
the Flyers. They're not exactly playing the 76 Canadians yet. So,
No, and those two teams are not as offensive minded as either of Montreal or Buffalo. So yeah,
but in
be a little
those
different.
those eight
Yeah,
games so far, Ted, the Hurricanes allowed a total of 10 goals in 8 games.
yeah,
You're
and
not scoring.
yeah,
You better get
yeah,
ready to
you're
win a
not
two to
getting
one
those
game.
points. No, you're not. And the thing is, both the Flyers to a degree, and certainly Ottawa was trying. Were they you know they tried to play, and then they tried to push the Hurricanes around. That's not going to happen either, and neither of these two teams can do that.
I
So
don't think
yeah,
I don't think either of these teams are going to score enough, and I don't think
no,
either of them is physical enough to stop the Hurricanes from scoring.
no, and if the Montreal gets in, I think their goalie could get himself in a world of hurt against Carolina because they're going to go sit in front of the net. And have you seen him?
Mm.
He likes to hack.
Yes,
He likes to hack guys in
yes, he
front of the
does.
net. And Carolina's going to be on the power play because they're going to stand there and they're going to take it and go look to the referee. Look what he's doing to me. And they're just going to
Yeah,
stand there and take it. And then they're gonna end up on power play after power play. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I think Carolina sort of walks into the finals. I would be surprised unless Anderson completely stinks. I think they're going to walk into the
yeah.
finals.
Ted, let's go out to the West, and what should be a really good series: the
Yeah.
Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. Ted, Colorado was the best team in the regular season, had the most wins, the most points, scored the most goals, and allowed the
Yeah.
fewest goals. They have the best
Yeah.
player, McKinnon.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Makar, you got Landeskog. It seems like it's a cakewalk.
It's not.
Well,
It's not. No, it's not.
Carter Hart has been resurrected from his Philly days in
Yes.
net. He's playing really well for Vegas.
Yep.
Mitch Marner is finally showing why everybody thought he would. Did you see the goal that Marner scored the other night?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
On the
that was
breakaway
sick.
between his legs?
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't
And
fair.
Eichel's been just as good. So you have a really good goalie. Tortorella is
a well-experienced team too, because this bunch has gone to the playoffs and gone either to the finals or the Western Conference Finals a bunch of times, and they're big and they're strong, and yeah.
I think Colorado's the better team, and I think they win. But I think this is a 6 or 7 game series.
1,000%, because although they allowed the fewest goals, if you asked me who I think who has an advantage in net,
Hmm.
I think Vegas has the advantage in net, because behind Carter Hall is the guy Aiden
Carter Hart.
Hill,
Yeah.
or Carter Hart is Aiden Hill, who I believe was their Stanley Cup winning goalie, or was, he's
Yeah.
part of the team. So I mean,
Yeah.
if Hart if he goes south, they can just run Hill out there, and hopefully he. But I believe I'm with you. I think Colorado wins in 6.
When you see them having the best or the least goals scored against them in the regular season, you
Yeah.
wonder if that's a function more of no one being able to get the puck away from them more than an incredible defense. I mean, McCarr's a nice defenseman; he's more of an offensive guy than but I just wonder if they just control the puck so much during the regular season that's they're spending most time on the other team's half of the ice that they don't get scored on a lot
Well,
themselves.
and the thing about them is, I mean, I'm not an expert like you. I'm not an expert, but it seems to me that they transition when they
Hmm.
steal the puck. They transition to offense in a blink of an eye, particularly when
Hmm.
McKinnon's out there. I mean, if they get him the
Hmm.
puck, he's just gone, and he's like a freight train going in towards the net. I mean, he doesn't score sometimes, or most of the time, because that's just the nature of the game. But he puts a lot of pressure on goalies and
Yeah.
defensemen. Yeah, they're a really good team too. I hope it's Carolina and Colorado, because I think they are by far the best 2 teams right now.
And that would be a
In the
great
division.
series. That would be
Yeah,
a great
that would be
series.
tremendous. That'd be tremendous. Yeah,
Yeah.
6 or 7 really good games.
Yeah. As I always say, for people who are not hockey fans, I was listening. The other day when I was watching, this is a perfect segue to the PGA, Ted. I was listening on ESPN in the morning yesterday. I was watching ESPN and the early guys going out, and Curtis Strange is still hanging on, getting a paycheck from ESPN
Mhm.
for announcing. And I guess they were promoting the hockey game coming up, and Curtis
Mhm.
Strange said something, I don't know anything about hockey. And I think it was Van Pelt said, hey, just watch. You'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, for people who don't watch hockey, it's like that's one of the reasons I always wanted to see McDavid in the final. I want to see
Yeah.
the best players be able to put on the show that sport can do in a 7 game series with the best players on the ice.
Yeah, and you have to tell people it's different than the regular season. I mean, although of the sports that have long seasons, baseball, basketball, hockey, no group plays harder in the regular season than hockey
Than
players.
hockey. Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
part of
it
the
may it
culture.
doesn't look the same. It doesn't look the same as it does in the playoffs, but nobody plays harder. Nobody, they don't load management does not exist in that league, you know?
No,
You know,
no.
it I can't even imagine Ovechkin going up, "Yeah, I just I don't have it tonight. I don't feel it tonight." "Oh, okay, Ovi, you get that."
We played
No,
last night, coach. I think I'm going to take tonight off.
no, he
Huh?
might get a few minutes. He might get a couple of shifts off, but he's playing.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't know.
All right. Now, Ted, let's go out to the PGA.
The
Um,
opposite of hockey, right? Well, it is men with sticks.
there you go. Perfect segue, Ted. There you go. So let's first clean up the Valhalla room, Ted.
Yeah,
Uh, we both had one player. I'm shocked Tommy Fleetwood didn't make the cut because he always seems to make the cut.
yeah.
I'm not shocked that Bryson DeChambeau didn't make the cut. That's last time Bryson's going to get a pick from me for quite a while now. Just have to say that he's lost my confidence, if that means anything to him, as he's sitting in his mansion counting his dollars.
No,
But anyway, it came for the Valhalla room, Ted. It came down to a
yeah,
2-man battle with all 4 playing well. You had Cam Young, who finished it even, started out the week. I think he was like 3 under after Thursday. He
yeah.
was
He
one of the
he got
leaders,
to
if I remember
he got
correctly.
up there a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah. And then you
yeah,
had Rory also. He finished at 4 under. I had Scotty, and if Scotty could have made a putt from anything closer than 6 inches, he would have
yeah.
won by 6, I think. He was back in his mode where he can't make putts. He finished at 2 under, and my guy Ludvig finished tied for third at -5. So my 2-man team eked out a 7 under to a 4 under win. So I'm two
Right.
and 0 so far in the
There you go.
in our Valhalla room picks. Ted, and I
Good
will
for
say
you.
this: I'll say this with all seriousness. If we had picked a 4-man team, I'm sure Aaron Rye was going to be my 4th pick.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. But that is the thing about the PGA. It doesn't matter where they play it. Every so often, somebody comes. And
You
it's
get
Aaron
Sean
Rye's a
McKeel,
great
Rich
player.
Bean.
Yeah, but I mean, Aaron Rye's better than those two guys. I think he's
Mhm.
one, and he's
Yeah.
consistently been in the mix. You know, he's in the mix enough times during the regular year
Yeah.
that it's. I mean,
You're right.
he's a good player. He's a really good player. It's just there's a lot of really good players. But yeah,
And
and he
Ted, there
played
was
great. Played great on Sunday.
yes,
Played great.
and that's the point that I wanted to get to. Ted, is there was nothing illegitimate or hokey about that win. It was a
No.
bunched leaderboard, and he was in that bunch, and then he shot 7 under or 5 under.
Yeah.
I think he shot 5 under.
Yeah.
He had the best round of the leaders. He deserved to win.
Yeah. What was he? 5 or 6 under after for the last 10 holes or 11 holes or something like that on Sunday. Yeah, he was
On
great.
Sunday.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had an eagle on the 9th hole, and then he was 4 under or 3 under on the back. So yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
And when he made that putt on 17, I turned it off.
Yeah, it was done. Yeah. 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 Ted, I think I have said on this fine podcast that I am one of the few golf fans that is not a Rory fan.
Right.
He just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Anyway, did you see his comment after Saturday about the course setup?
I saw there were a lot of comments, but I don't remember his specifically.
So he said that the fact that the leaderboard was so bunched after Saturday was an indication that the course setup was not good. Because
Okay.
it didn't allow anybody to distance themselves from the field.
Okay. Well, everybody's allowed to have an opinion.
To me, that's just sour grapes, and that.
Yeah. I mean, he's in it.
Know.
I don't know
It's
what
just,
he's. I don't know why he would be so negative. He was in it.
To me, Ted, if you said to me before the week started, what should the winning score at the PGA be? I'd say somewhere between 5 and 10 under.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
You want guys to not. You don't want it to be the bloodbath of the U.S. Open. Right.
No. I don't. No.
And there are times when the wind doesn't blow at the British Open where you get 20 under.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't want either of those things at the PGA. I don't want it to look like a regular tour event, but I don't want to make it look like, guys dragging off the end of the course like they've just been beaten down for 6 hours, right?
Right. That's what the U.S. Open is for.
That's what the U.S. Open is for. So if you told me before the week that with 3 or 4 holes left to play, there'd be 3 or 4 guys between 6 and 4 under, I'd have said perfect. The course is perfectly set up.
Yeah. I would tell Rory, stop hitting it left. And then you off the tee, and you might have scored better.
You might have to worry about this. You wouldn't have to worry about the course setup if you didn't hit it hit
it in the middle, and then you don't have to worry about it. Look, I think there was only one that I think Aronimik was great. I thought it was a great course. They got incredibly lucky with the wind kicking up to sort of help it tighten it up a little bit. Because you look at the Masters thing is the course, right? And their traditions, right? The US Open, we've already talked about. It's just they don't want to exceed par, so they do everything they can to make it not that way. And the British Open is the courses and the weather. It's the weather. If the weather's everything there, right?
And you almost hope for a little bit of wind and rain. To make the British Open like when it's
right.
It
feels like the British Open.
Every time it's cold and windy at the British Open here in Richmond, Virginia, it's 98 and humid.
Yeah,
so it's great to sit in your house and go, okay, let the air conditioning do its work. Let me watch this for 4 hours.
Yeah.
This looks like fun.
But it also helps the course, and it's the ID of the British Open is to have some weather, right?
Right.
Like the ID of the US Open is to beat people down, and the ID and the PGA does not really have an ID other than the big trophy at the end. This course to me was perfect, except for I would have done the only thing I would have done different if looking at it was And now again, like I started with, the weather helped them with the wind on Thursday, Friday, so it dried everything out. The rough was penal, but they
Yes,
could get out. They could get out. You
exactly.
saw.
Exactly.
Now there were some spots where it was really thick, but had it rained uh, during the week, they would have cut it back some. They wouldn't have allowed it to be knee high, you
Hmm.
know. So I think that the only thing I didn't like the par four that was 530
Yeah.
yards there on the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Now
agree.
I also
The-
understand if I remember it right, it was sandwiched between the very short par four that they could drive and
yep.
the one par five on the back.
Yep.
So I would have
Yep.
either 190 yards. Let's have some fun. Let's have the roars of the Masters, right? That's what I would have. That's the only thing I found wrong with that course. And I think if the PGA was smart, or if, I don't know, if maybe the membership doesn't want events, I would try and schedule that for the PGA every 5 or 6 years. I thought that course was great.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree.
But
Ted,
I
we're
mean, they
losing
haven't.
you a little bit. Let's go ahead and wrap it.
But they haven't
Go
played
ahead.
there since 1962, so maybe the membership doesn't
Right.
want it. So
Yeah. Maybe. Ted, we're losing the connection a little bit. Let's go
yeah.
ahead and wrap it up for the week. We got it just in over an hour anyway, so let's go ahead and wrap it up for the week. Thank you again to our fans for listening. Hoping you're enjoying these episodes. Please continue to follow us here on millions.co as we record here. Also, please check us out on our social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We also on Instagram, X, and Facebook. You can also send us an email at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, we'll say good night, and we promise to do better next time.